running with this dirty word, the vile word. It's scatological. They couldn't wait to use the scatological reference to the word that Trump allegedly used over and over again. They are preoccupied with excrement or obscenity, as you well know. I mean, if you look at Jake Tapper or Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon, John Berman, and the other stars of the Scatological Network, we can call it SNN, the Scatological News Network, they cannot get over saying it. They're like little children in a schoolhouse where the teacher accidentally used the word, let's say, that Trump allegedly used. And they all start using it like the little children that they are. Their intellect is about that of a fourth or fifth grader. So you're using a dirty word. And the mother hears about it. She says, Johnny, I heard you use this word in school over and over again, Andy. Anderson Cooper says, I didn't use it. I heard you use the word. I'm going to wash your mouth out with brown soap. I mean, what should I suggest here? They should have their mouths washed out with brown soap. They're using the word over and over again that they say is vulgar and obscene. Why would they repeat the word over and over again? Why? Liberalism is a vulgar mental disorder. That's why. Now, whether Trump said this or didn't say it, I'm going to assume he did say it because that's the way men actually talk behind the scenes about many things. You've never used the word? You're telling me that Jake Tapper never heard the word before? So what is he getting so upset about? What is the issue that we are discussing? The issue we're discussing is the quality of immigrants that we want in this nation. Now, I know many of you are kind-hearted, good liberals, and believe that we should take in the very opposite of what makes sense. In other words, we should not take in people who can contribute to society, but that this nation should take in all of the poor and starving masses of the world because we're just such a rich nation, and we have an obligation to the poor of the world to give them a free handout because we did so many bad things to them. That sounds good on a piece of paper until you look at the abject poverty in this nation that has not yet been resolved. And I say America first. Take care of our poor first. It's a crowded lifeboat. The water is up to the gunwales. We take it anymore, this boat's going to sink. We don't have unlimited funds. So we do have to make a determination as to what immigrants we want. Every sane nation on earth has border controls for that reason. So let's start with the opposite. What people do we not want? Who do you not want here? Well, let's start with we do not want diseased people here. What? How dare you? Of course we want diseased people. They should get free kidneys, free hearts. They should go ahead of the line of our soldiers who are suffering in the VA hospitals. You see the absurdity of that? No, we can't give all the medical treatment in the world to every sick person from the third world. There's a saying on the base of the Statue of Liberty by Emma Lazarus that many of you are quoting in your heads now. She's saying, Michael, but what about that saying on the Statue of Liberty when your grandfather came over here as an immigrant, which said, give me your tired, your poor, and the masses yearning to be free? It sounded very good. But I will remind you that when that statement was written, it was pure propaganda because there was no welfare state. In other words, it was not give me your tired, your poor, and those yearning to live for free, was it? It was give me your tired, your poor, and those yearning to be free. In other words, they worked 16 hours a day, living 16 to a room, 7 days a week, to try and pull themselves out of poverty because there was no government handout waiting for them. And I'll remind you again, if your great-grandfather came over here with tuberculosis, he was either, what's the word? Quarantined. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the word. You're not even allowed to use it in America anymore. He was quarantined and treated until he got better or deported back to the country he came from. Why did they deport people with infectious illnesses? I know you can't understand this because many of you get your information from the very same news media that is so scatologically oriented that they have no knowledge and no history and such. The reason is because you didn't want to infect the healthy population. That is what epidemiology is about. That's what border controls are about. What do you want to do, bring people in with the plague? Do you want, now what, people in the plague in your child's school? Are you people that sick? So you need proper controls over sick people. So you need to control what kind of people you bring in. Okay, so we've gone through that. What about criminals? You want to bring criminals in? You need more gang members in the country. You don't have enough of them with the tattoos up to the eyeballs and tattoos on their eyeballs. That's why Trump's deporting the gang members. That's also no good to Dan Lemon, whatever their names are, the fools in the media. So in other words, we're trying to have a rational immigration discussion. A rational immigration discussion includes what kind of immigrants do we want in this nation? That's what we're talking about. Instead, the little yappers in the media are running with a scatological word over and over again, repeating it like little children because they can finally say a dirty word on air and get away with it. And they think that passes for cleverness. How pathetic they really are. So that's all I can say on this issue. There's not much more to say. I got great sound bites. Robert, you said you have something good for the audience? Got some red meat for them? Let's have the audio soundbite called Red Meat Number 1.
I am a proud holder. My family was called I'm proud of that. We came when people from Ireland and Italy were seen as dirty people, dirty Catholics who didn't belong in a Protestant country. Holders built this country 110 years ago. They were called
Oh, get off your high horse, you phony liberal. Who is this putz? Who is this schmuck? Who? Mud? They have another one? They got another moron? Another sellout? Okay, well. Let me give you a Teddy update. I know many of you know Teddy is the mascot of the Savage Nation. He's been the star of this show for his entire 14 years of life. And I wrote a book about him called Teddy and Me. And he's getting old, and he's gotten sick, and I was joking about him yesterday on the air. Many of you thought it was funny that his private parts were getting larger, and I thought he was getting smaller. I mean, it became almost frightening in terms of size of private part proportionate to the body mass. So he went to the vet for the third time in 3 days, and she is suspecting that he has testicular cancer, the poor little fella. And so they're going to biopsy, or did already, and may have to remove a portion of his thing. And we got him on an anti-inflammatory because he was ripping his fur apart from I guess the referred pain from whatever he has, prostatitis, it could be as simple as that, or testicular cancer. It's a referred pain up into the lower abdomen area, and dogs don't know what it is, so they start to scratch and bite themselves. Don't call me about saw palmetto. I wrote the book about it 30 years ago. I know all about it, so we'll try everything, but I don't know. It's the way of all flesh, you know. We as human organisms, animals as organisms, get older, and they start to break down, and then eventually that's it. So what are you going to do about it? I'm wrecked over it, frankly. It's wrecking my emotions. I got to tell you, it's affecting me very deeply because I'm attached to the dog a little too much. I've had other dogs that I lost, and this one's different. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too maudlin right now. Let's get back to scatology and take some callers on the issue of Trump using the whole word about a certain nation. But isn't there a truth in that? Isn't there a certain truth that even our amnesty-loving fools in the media have to agree with? We don't like if the president denigrates other nations, even in a private setting. We know the language itself is vulgar and crude. And we also know that we get a lot of great immigrants from around the globe. But as I said to you before, aren't there geographical related differences in how successful some immigrants are? Yes, there is a UN Human Development Index, for example. And Norway, the country that Trump mentioned he wanted more immigrants from, is actually number 1 on the UN Human Development Index. The lowest is El Salvador, ranked at 117. I'm sorry, El Salvador ranked at 117. Haiti is ranked at 163. And every other country ranked below it was from Africa. Did you hear that? All the other nations below that, 163rd place, were from Africa. So why wouldn't we want immigrants who are healthy and productive, irrespective of their racial composition? Why would we want people to come from the most dysfunctional places on earth, the most impoverished places on earth? Have you looked at the relative welfare usage by immigrants and their nation of origin? I have. Central America, Mexico, the highest, 73% of them use welfare. The Caribbean, 51% of them use welfare. African immigrants to the U.S., 48%. European immigrants use the lowest rate of have the lowest rate of usage of welfare. It's 26%. East Asians use welfare at a rate of 32%. South Asia has the lowest of all groups at 17%. So these are disparate outcomes for immigrants by nation. And it will pass down through the generations generally. We get immigrants from a wide variety of nations with a wide variety of skills. And the fact of the matter is, there's insanity in the immigration policy of Dick Durbin and Nancy Pelosi, who want open borders. Why would you want to bring in Somalis, for example, into this nation? If you've looked at Somalia itself and what happens in the Somali American communities here. But what about the large numbers of Nigerians who come here and do well? Why? Do you know why? Because while the Somalis are generally uneducated, the Nigerians that America gets are very highly educated. So I understand the president stepped into a bear trap, and there's a lot of anger by the immigration parrot community that we're all being called racist now. But the fact of the matter is, certain immigrants are much more likely to be crime-ridden or to use welfare at a much higher rate than the average Norwegian. And so, therefore, maybe we will now have a rational immigration policy and make a decision as to how many immigrants we can absorb per year and where they should come from. Maybe when all the dust settles, once again, Trump did the nation a favor, where the average person, even those who vote Democrat, can say, you know what, I would never say it, but he's not really wrong. And, of course, if they really do mean that they are in such love with Haiti and Africa, when is the last time Jerry Seinfeld or any other good liberals that was just so outraged today vacationed in Haiti? I can't find any references to that, and there's a good reason for it. But, you know, a lot of this is based not only on politics, but on pure stupidity. And I got to play a soundbite before I take a quick break here. The worst senator in the Senate right now is Dick Durbin, for many reasons. I never forgave him for calling our Marines Nazis. Never. Never. He should have been thrown out of office just for that. I want you to listen to how sick this man is when he says the term chain migration is painful to African Americans because they migrated to the United States in chains. Wait a minute. I'll play it in a minute. Would that mean that we should drop the words chain smoker, bicycle chain, because it may offend somebody? Are these people this sick? Listen to this. Listen to clip 5.
That was the nature of this conversation. When it came to the issue of, quote, chain migration, I said to the president, do you realize how painful that term is to so many people? African Americans believe that they migrated to America in chains. And when you speak about chain migration, it hurts them personally.
This is sick. I mean, this is what's running the country? This is at the lowest possible human level. It can't get lower than Dick Durbin. Yes, it can. I'm soon going to play Nancy Pelosi with another brain freeze on the Savage Nation. Savage. Welcome back to the Savage Nation. We'll get back in a minute to the scatological insanity of the media, where they're just over and over using obscene language to pretend that they've never used the word before about some third world hellholes. These people really should have considered a career in coprology, but they never went past the High School of Performing Art. But the fact is, let's get down to brass tacks for a minute before I get back to the facts of the news facts of the day, which is the fact that we all have goals for 2018. We all have them, and we all need good rest in order to do them, right? And maybe you heard me say it yesterday, but I do get a good night's sleep on a Casper mattress, and I use it because it has a unique combination of foams that provide the right pressure relief and comfort so you feel perfectly balanced. And thanks to the breathable material, you're guaranteed to sleep cool, plus the mattresses are built to last for years. Basically, since I've gotten my Casper, I've gotten the best sleep ever, so I know 2018 is going to be a great year. Try Casper yourself for 100 nights for free in your own home. They'll ship it to you in a little box. If you don't love it, they'll come and pick it up, put it back in that box, and refund you every dime. Start your year off right with a guaranteed great night's sleep every night. Get a Casper. Try yours for 100 nights in your own home with free shipping and returns. All you got to do is go to Casper.com, use code SAVAGE, and we will give you $50 off the purchase of select mattresses. You got it? Casper.com, code SAVAGE to save $50 on the purchase of select mattresses. Casper.com, terms and conditions do apply. So the little boys and girls in the media like to say the S word now with impunity because they're all little children throwing scat around the newsrooms, verbal scat. And you're telling me that they themselves love Haiti? They would go to the nations of Africa on vacation? You know that they're liars. And they are doing this for one reason, because they can. And I don't think the average person really thinks Trump did anything wrong, because behind the scenes, everyone knows that these nations are not places that they would migrate to, even on a vacation. And I'll say it again till you finally hear me. Why didn't the Obamas rent a vacation villa in Haiti or in Africa instead of Honolulu or Martha's Vineyard? Because they're not stupid. Because they treasure their lives. They like running water. They like a safe food supply. That's why they went to Honolulu or Martha's Vineyard with all the other good liberals. That's why they didn't vacation in Port-au-Prince, you idiots, you. And the day that Jake Tapper and his buddy Anderson Cooper and Pill Griffin take up my offer, I will raise money for them to spend 2 straight weeks in Haiti at our expense. But it's got to be at a resort of our choosing. And with no bodyguards. That's right. Jake, we're raising money for you to spend 2 weeks in Haiti at our expense. But it's got to be at a resort of our choosing.
Savage.